God's existence unlikely.
What exactly about suffering makes this unlikely on the condition that God exists?
I think that if God is all loving, then he probably wouldn't want his creatures to suffer. And so I think that the fact that they do suffer makes his existence less likely.
I have to give you my value theory first for you to show that
Okay,
misalignment.
let's hear it.
Perfect. Okay. So my value theory says that it's not the most important thing about a sentient creature is not what merely happens to them. It's about the total timeline of their life and how and where their life permanently ends. Meaning, if you were to judge an author of a narrative and the first few chapters, let's say, there's a lot of bad things happening, but the end ends with this crescendo where there's victoriousness, there's redemption, there's beauty, and everyone in the story actually endorses their entire existence that they live. They can look at their they can look at the total timeline, and they actually each subjectively come to the conclusion, I'm glad I was made, and I totally see what my suffering was for. That's the particular I'm using with. So we have to judge, hold on, what John Hicks says, we have to judge the very nature of God's lovingness by what he does in the end, not these few time slices that we observe right now.
So, in order for us to make a case for God, we have to understand the beginning, middle, and the end. When you read in a book, you don't just read, well, some of us do, read the first couple pages and be like, yeah, that book was trash. Or the first couple seconds of the movie, yeah, that movie was ass. Or listen to the first intro to a CD, like, nah, this isn't my speed. But the reality of a totality of a situation is that it requires you to go through the whole thing. So when we're talking about life, where we're talking about depression, anxiety, fear, all of these constructs only exist within this specific amount of time. When we go outside of time, when we exit out the body, when we meditate, when we astral travel, when we ultimately die, we are going outside of time. And these are the things that actually prove God. Like when you on a deep DMT or LSD trip and you go outside of your body, you see other entities and dimensions outside of this one. So when people tell you that God is real, they're not gaslighting you, they're not lying to you, they're not telling you some shit to like make it sound good. God is a real entity that exists within inside of you. It is a whole level of consciousness that exists outside, well, inside of you, outside of this realm of time, space, and whatever the fuck y'all niggas want to do here. So I say this all to say, when you don't believe in God, 10 times out of 10, you caught up in the part of the story that is the crisis or the turmoil. The actual truth of God is that you can overcome all of that shit that you're going through at a spiritual level, at an emotional level, and at a mental level, but you have to do the work.